and introduce yourselves. Divya Jha from Delhi, first year student. Okay. Antoine from Washington, USA student. Welcome to the webinar. Thank you for joining us. What about the others? You can let us know. Chandrakant Reddy, welcome to the webinar. So now that we are also live on YouTube and LinkedIn, everyone joining us from these platforms, welcome to today's session. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to be covering a lot of topics. So it would be great if you all could introduce yourself. Tell us your name, the city you're from. It's wonderful to know all about you guys. So, oh, I see a lot of responses. Kushal Chandra from Bangalore, MD Afsar from India, Obed Muachi from South Africa. So we have a lot of participants from across the world, and that is wonderful to see. So I'll quickly share my screen as well, if you can give me a moment. Okay. Keep your responses coming, and we will start the webinar really quickly. So, yeah, it's wonderful to see the kind of engagement that you guys are giving us. Okay, so Phoebe from Texas, Vipin from Bangalore, Sunil from Aurangabad. Wow, we have such a wonderful uh, audience today. So thank you all for your responses. It's great to hear from all of you. And it's time to start the webinar. So without taking much of your time, I'll quickly introduce myself. I'm Shweta from Simplilearn, and I'm going to be the host of today's session. And like you can see on screen, today's webinar is about how you can pass the ITIL 4 Foundation exam in your very first attempt. And we have a wonderful speaker joining us today, Professor Vipin. I will give his introduction shortly. So before that, I hope all of you are as excited as we are for this informative session. So I'll quickly tell you the agenda for today's session. So let's take a look at what we have lined up. So we are going to start with a quick overview of the ITIL 4 Foundation exam. We'll understand what it's really about, the test, what to expect. Then we'll move on to the main focus of today's session, that is how to pass the ITIL 4 Foundation exam in one attempt. Professor Bipin will walk us through some of the strategies, some of the common mistakes you can avoid. And then we will go ahead and talk about the key ITIL practices, priorities, and also the exam strategy for anyone interested in clearing the exam. And now, because it's not just about clearing the exam, we will also cover ITIL, why ITIL 4 Foundation matters and how it can impact your job, your credibility, and also career growth aspects in this field. After that, we are going to take a look at how the ITIL 4 Foundation training helps you prepare more efficiently. And we'll wrap up with some of the course details that we offer, the enrollment steps, and we'll open up to the Q&A session as well. So if you have any questions for Professor Pipin, we will be taking that up in the coming towards the end of the session as well. So like always, there are a few quick ground rules. If you have any questions, please ensure that you put them in the Q&A box. The reason I'm asking you to add them to the Q&A box is that we do not want to miss out on the questions. When you include your questions in the chat, it sometimes gets lost. There are a lot of messages coming our way. Second, please use the chat box for conversations regarding today's topic. Please refrain from sharing links, external links, and do not share your personal details or email ID over there. That also brings me to the certificate of participation. I understand that all of you are really curious and interested to get the certificate. What we will be doing is we will share a form to fill up towards the end of the webinar, and you can fill up your full name in that sheet. For that, you will have to stay till the end of the webinar, and you will be receiving your certificate within 24 hours. So that is about these are some of the basic ground rules, and the Q&A box, any questions that are posted there, we will take it up towards the end of the session because we do not want to disrupt the flow and we want to keep the interest of time in our mind. So we don't want to extend the session as well. So we will be taking all of your questions towards the end. And I also would love to know how many of you have already attended webinars with us. Have you participated in webinars? Is this your first time? Could you let me know in the chat? Are you all aware about Simplilearn, what we do? First time. Okay. I can see a few first timers here. Okay, me. Okay. Yes, for cybersecurity. Okay, so we actually conduct multiple webinars on different fields. So it's great to see so many people who know about Simplilearn and a lot of first timers as well. So I'll quickly thank you for your responses, everybody. So I'll quickly tell you for anyone who's new to Simplilearn, I'll tell you about Simplilearn. For anyone who's attended it before, thank you for coming back. It's really nice to see you all here. So everyone who's new here, what we do at Simplilearn is that we have already helped over 8 million learners advance their careers, and we are present in 150 plus countries. We also have 40 plus global accreditations and also 1,000 plus qualified trainers. Exciting parts for me. I love introducing our speakers, and today we have with us Professor Vipin Deshmukh. I'm going to tell you a little about him. So he actually brings in decades of hands-on experience in IT service management and also project delivery, and he has worked across multiple industries and multinational organizations. He's also certified in Prince 2 Foundation and is a practitioner, of course, and he also has the ITIL 4 Foundation certification. So he is someone who has a lot of experience in the field, a lot of knowledge, and the best part is he's also one of our mentors. So that truly inspires me that he has helped thousands of professionals not just pass the exam, but actually understand how to apply ITL thinking in their daily work. So, welcome to the session, Professor Vipin. It's really great to have you with us. So, could you please share a little bit about yourself and your experience in this field?
Yeah, good evening, one and all. I hope you will enjoy the session. So, as Shweta has introduced me, yes, I have around 4+ decades of experience in handling IT and IT service management in IT-enabled organization, and also in manufacturing, retail, then FMCG, banking, and the retails. And I'm also handling customer experience management for most of the organizations. So I also had a chance to do the development from the scratch and also implemented the ERP systems like SAP, JD Edwards, Oracle Business Suites, etc. So this is brief about me. I hope you will extract best from me during the session, and I am ready to provide my experience and share my experience with you all. So it will help you in the endeavor to take the certification and clear them in the first attempt as far as ITL4 foundation is concerned. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And with that, I would also like to add that this is going to be a really valuable session. He just spoke about his experience, and so please stay focused on today's session. So that brings me to one of the most important questions that anyone who would have joined this webinar would have. That is regarding the ITIL 4 Foundation exam. So, could you give us a quick overview of the exam and what it covers?
See, as far as exam is concerned, ITIL4 is basically the examining body is People Cert who are associated with the uh, government of UK, which is the stationary office, which helps in conducting these exams. Like, so People Cert has taken over from them and as a third party, which is in looking into the examination. As far as exam is concerned, it is basically about the syllabus laid down for foundation, which we'll be talking about as we go forward. Here, basically, the general IT, you will be talking about most about the key concepts on the IT IL4 framework, which is talking about basically the value, how it can deliver value to the consumers, and how you will be able to understand the key terms, terminologies, and the entire syllabus. Then we move on. Then the next things would be related to knowledge on service value system, which includes and its component, which includes 5 components of the service value system, including the service value chain activities, the governance, the mm, practices, then the continual improvement as well as the principles. So that's what is covered in the syllabus of ITIL4, which is dealt in detail. This has been the session is executed over uh, 16 hours of session time, which makes the learners ready for going and taking the exam, understanding the concept first, and then making you ready to take an exam within next 7 to 15 days of completion of the course, because there are a lot of sample papers and all that we will be talking about, which will enable you to clear the exam in the first attempt. And there are a lot of resources which will be made available to you during the sessions. We'll talk about those resources as we go ahead. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for that. It actually gave us a good context on what the ITIL exam covers and also a brief understanding of the syllabus. So, when it comes to the exam syllabus, is there any concept or any topic that one must focus on while preparing for the exam, or are all of these almost the same value?
See, actually speaking, the entire syllabus is very well designed, and it is basically based on the concept of progressive learning. So, for example, if we say that unless and until we know the key concepts, we will not be able to apply them in 4 dimensions of service management. And what we understand in 4 dimensions of service management, we will not be able to apply in the service value system and its component. And obviously, the practices are one of the part of the component. So it is always a progressive learning, though it has lot of what we say the coverage perspective is given that will cover as we go ahead, and the coverage perspective would be known to you as we go ahead.
Sure. Okay.
But it is always a progressive learning which we are talking about here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great insight on it. Can you also talk to us a little more on the exam overview? You did mention
Yeah,
what are
sure.
the passing scores, what's required.
Yes, I'll do that. So basically, when we are talking about ITL for foundation, see, actually, there is no material allowed to be used by you during the exam. So no official book is allowed, no material is allowed. Only you are allowed to uh, carry whatever the knowledge which you have carried during the session to in the examination hall. Otherwise, nothing else is required to be carried in the examination hall. Exam consists of around 60 minutes of time. Now, this exam is 60 minutes for the people who take the exam in English, which is a native language. If people are taking exams in any other language other than English, which is all the European languages plus Chinese, Japanese, if they're taking those exams in those languages, then you're allowed to have around 25% extra time, which is in this scenario, it becomes around 15 minutes time.
Right.
Okay. And there are around 40 questions in an exam paper, wherein all the questions carry equal weightage, that all the questions carry 1 mark. No questions have more than 1 mark, and all the questions also have no more than 4 options for each one of them. So we say it is an objective type questions. So to clear an exam, you need 65% of the marks, which is basically 26 correct questions out of 40, wherein you are, even if you get 26, you are given a certificate by People Cert, which is valid for 4 years, oh sorry, 3 years, and it can be renewed consistently in a cycle of every 3 years. There are many mechanisms to renew it. We'll talk about it as we go ahead. Now, the questions which are asked are basically on the topics, and it is also going to be asked on a concept which is called as the Booms level questions. The Booms level is a taxonomy which relates to complexity, which relates to specificability. Now, in this scenario, we have two. First time, level 1 question is very trying to understand about the understanding which you have gained. Very simple, 9 marks questions come from that area. Then the level 2 questions are related to your understanding of the key concept and implementation of the key concepts. Level 3 is related to application analysis. Level 4. Level 5 is implementation and creation of. Sixth is level creation. So level 3, 4, 5, and 6 is not applicable for foundation. However, level 1 and 2 questions are there. Level 1 questions would be around 29 questions. Sorry, 9 questions, and level 2 questions would be 29 questions there. Okay. So that's how it makes it 9 plus 31, 40 questions. Each of the question types, there are 4 types of questions asked. Each one of them have no more than 4 options. So first type of question is called as the standard objective type question. The second one is called as the negative standard OTQ objective type question. Third one is called find the missing word in the following sentence. And the lastly, the list question. The list kind of a question is no more than 1 or 2 questions in a entire 40 questions. There's a brief about how the exam is conducted by PeopleCert, and they are standard questions. There are no trick questions at all. They are all based on the theoretical knowledge which you will acquisition during the course of 16 hours plus the preparation time which you will get by solving a lot of sample papers which Simplilearn has on its learning management platform. And also during our session, if the time permits, we will also do one of the sample papers which is given by PeopleCert during the session. So this is how we can be prepared and make ourselves more prepared for the exams. Yeah.
Right. I think that gives a complete understanding of what the exam looks like, a comprehensive understanding of the exam overview as well. So now that we spoke about the types of questions, the levels, could you also help us understand the exam better with a few examples that we already have? There are some sample questions.
Yes,
Could you
this
help
is
us with?
yeah, this is the first question which we talked about as called as standard objective type questions. Here in which is a source of a best practice. Now, actually, the question would be on like, for example, the what are the components of the which one of the following is a component of the service value system? As we spoke, there are 5 components of the service value system. In these 4 options, there will be one component given, and the rest of the 3 options would be different. You have to identify which is a component of the service value system. Okay, so for example, you will be given as principles, then cost, time, and complexity. The right answer is principles. Similarly, when we talk about non-standard OTQ, it talks about which of the following is not one of the components of the service value system. In this scenario, you will be given 3 options from the components of the service value system that include service value chain activities, the practices, the governance. The one which will be scalability is the one which is not the answer. You have to select that. That's another way, second way of finding, or it is called as a negative standard OTQ. As far as the guidelines given by PeopleCert, an examination standard which PeopleCert follows, whenever a negative question is put, any negative word in the question would be always put in block capital letters, as you see in this scenario over here. The third one is find out the missing word. Identify the missing word in the following sentence. Here, example would be like if we say product is the configuration of organization resources that enable deliver value to the consumers. So last word enable deliver value to the consumers or value will be put in the square bracket, and 4 statements or words would be given for you to fill in that, like value and scale, complexity, and uh, maybe anything like quality would be given, and you have to select the word value. So that's how this works out. The last type of question is a sample list question wherein which statement about the service value system component is right. It helps in first statement would be talking about it helps in governance. Second one, it is having the principle which allow the organization to build the culture in the organization. Third statement would be related to values. Third statement would be related to, let's say, your 4 dimensions of service management. And the fifth statement will say about fourth statement will say about a practice. So first 2 statement would be right. Hence the answer is option A, where A 1 and 2 is right. Option is A. 2 and 3 is right. Option is B. 3 and 4 is right. Option is C. And 1 and 4 is right. Option is D. There are no other possible combinations like 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. It's not possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that. And while you were explaining, there are also some members asking who
What?
this exam is well eligible for, who is eligible for this exam, and if they are working in automobile engineering company, will this help them in any way?
Okay. So as far as ITL 4 is concerned, this framework is applicable to anybody who is utilizing digital mechanism to deliver products or service to their consumers. It is not necessarily being used by the IT and IT enabled organization. It is used by banking organization for online banking solutions to be provided to their consumers. It is also used by Simplilearn for learning management system. It's an online platform for learning management, so it can be used by them. It is used by pharmaceutical industries. It is used by the any industry which is under any business verticals which use products like SAP, JD Edwards, Oracle Business Suite, and any booking platforms like your Book My Show, booking platforms like IRCTC, Railways is using these platforms for basically using this framework for delivering better products and services to their consumers. So it is not necessarily only for IT and IT enabled services. It is good model or a framework which can be utilized by any organization, any business vertical who are delivering their products using the digital mechanism. You can also look at the taxi services by Ola and Uber. You can also look at the itinerary services provided by Swiggy, Zomato, and so on and so forth. This is applicable for them as well.
Thanks for saying that, and I hope that cleared your doubt as well. And you do not really need an IT background for writing the ITIL Foundation exam. So I think that clarifies your doubt here. So before we move on to the most important part of the webinar, which is how you can crack it in your very first attempt, we will also like to know if you have taken the ITIL for Foundation exam before. So if you can let us know in the chat, we would love to see your responses. Is it your first time? Have you given this exam before? Okay, I see a lot of no. Okay, you've not. So a lot of the participants have not given this exam before. So you have. Are you all preparing for the exam? Okay, so there are members who have heard about this exam for the very first time today as well, and they're part of the webinar. So we hope we will give you some clarity towards the end. By the end of the webinar, you'll have a comprehensive understanding of ITIL Foundation exam as well. Thank you all for your responses. So now again, moving on to that part that you have been waiting for, Professor Pippin, could you share some of your insights on how one can pass the ITIL 4 Foundation exam in one attempt? You have helped a lot of learners do exactly that. So what are some of the effective strategies one can use to clear this exam?
Okay. So effective strategies first is important to clear your mind, prepare your mind. There are absolutely no trick questions there. Prepare your mind and understand the subject matter well. Preparing well after the syllabus is completed during the session. In fact, you start preparing from the time you register with Simplilearn or any other organization, if you may call it. So the preparation begins the moment you decide to undertake this course. It is not after that. It's preparation starts well in time. As soon as you decide you have taken a right decision, so you go ahead and start preparing for that. Initially, learning management system is there, which also includes your online learning videos, which you can utilize before attending the session, which can be done, which is done by most of the people. And then there are these are few of the terminologies which you will be learning with the live day-to-day examples, live examples, how you can utilize these examples in day-to-day and service management. That's what is covered here. You have to basically prepare your mind. You start preparing as soon as you have decided to do a course. You register and then you start. First thing which done is these are the few areas which we talk in the service concepts of service management. So it talks about what is the meaning of service. What do we mean by a service? Service means nothing but enabling co-creating of value by facilitating the consumer, by facilitating the outcomes consumer wants to achieve without the consumer having to manage specific cost and risks. This is a very simple thing which includes there is, suppose you are using Amazon or Flipkart for using your daily day-to-day procurement activity. These platforms are providing the service. They are the service provider, which enables you whatever you want to buy, a mobile phone or laptop, desktop, glossary, furniture fittings, or no, the apparels, whatever you want to buy, you can buy them. They are providing these services and helping them through their associates to deliver you the products and services by forwarding, packing, transporting, and delivering at your doorsteps will be given by them. So they're only charging you for the product which you are selling, the product which you are buying. They're not charging you for the services which are basically related to packing, forwarding, transporting, delivering, and at your doorsteps, which is borne by them. That's why we say without the consumer having to manage specific cost and risk. Okay.
Right.
Then there are important things like understanding what is the difference between the outcome and output. Output is a product itself, outcome is a result. Now, suppose, for example, you are taking the mobile phone, you are buying a mobile phone becomes an output. What is an outcome? Outcome for using a mobile phone is you can stay connected with your near and dear ones, right? Domestically and professionally. And you can also stay connected with the webinars like these which are happening. So there's an outcome. That's a result of using a mobile phone. Similarly, when we talk about any organization will have service consumer organization will have three roles of customer, user, and the sponsor. Customer has a role which provides the requirements for the services and takes the responsibility for outcomes of service consumption. Suppose, for example, you are buying a laptop for your child for undertaking online classes. You are the customer, you're defining the requirements for the laptop, the Windows and student version of Office 365, so on and so forth. Then your child, who is a user who attends the classes using a laptop, and your sponsor is, suppose your spouse is sponsoring, then the role of a sponsor is played by the your wife or your spouse. So that's where the customer, user, and sponsor role. We'll study about these as we go into the depth and details of the syllabus. This is part of the initial chapter, which is a key concept chapter. There are around 30 odd concepts which we'll be learning about as we go into this. And these are called as general vocabulary of ITIL 4 foundation, in which this scenario, this coverage of this is approximately around 5 questions do come from this area of the key concepts, which is a general vocabulary, which is globally understood and globally applicable for IT service management and services which we are talking about. Yeah.
That was a great explanation of the foundations, and I think for everyone who's new here, now you know where you start. So these are the basic concepts that you will be covering as a part of the course as well.
Oh,
So now, once the foundation is strong, the next step is to know how to apply what you've learned. And that's where the seven guiding principles come in. I think the mindset behind every ITIL decision. So, Professor Pippin, could you walk us through how these principles show up in the exam and how learners can use them to pick the
okay.
right answers?
Okay, now there are 7 principles which we have. Okay, these 7 principles are basically providing they are the recommendation and that guides the organization in all circumstances, irrespective of changes in the organization strategies, goals, objective, and the management structure. Management structure is the organization structure. Every service can define its organization structure to manage the services delivered by the service provider to their consumers. Now, these are 7 principles. These 7 principles uh, are basically enabling you. Now, and whatever you do, you have a personal principles also. All these 7 principles. Now, when you think about a scenario where you are delivering services to anyone. So you are service provider. So you can follow all these 7 principles. For example, you say honesty is my best principle. So I'll follow honesty in whatever I do. So you are applying that principle. Similarly, when we talk about principle, they help you to promise what you deliver. That is part of your first principle, which is called as focus on value principle. Now, this focus on value principle means that it is not only applicable to service provider and service consumers, it is applicable to both of them. So it is important for a service provider person to understand who are their consumers would be. Even in a same company, the person who is providing services is called as a service provider, and the person who is recipient of the service is called as service consumer. For example, your part of development team, and IT support department is providing you laptop. So whatever you service, you are requesting them as a by way of service request, okay, or incident request or change request, whatever you are doing, there internally it has been provisioned by your uh, IT department. That IT department plays the role of service consumer. So they focus on how they will be able to deliver right product at right time, which will provide you the value. Once the value is given to the consumer, what does the consumer happen is every time you get a value in line with your expectation, what happens? It happens is you are becoming very much satisfied with the services. You move from not only being satisfied, but you may go ahead and use their services consistently, which will lead to customer experience and user experience. Once it leads to that, what happens? You will go ahead and recommend their services. Not only you will use more of their services, but recommend their services to your families and friends. It not only gets value to you, but it gives value to the customer, the service provider also by having more business to them. So it's a handshake. Value provides an handshake on through a focus on value as a principle. Then there are principles like your start where you are principle, progress iterative with feedback principle, collaboration and promote visibility as a principle, think and work holistically, keep it simple and practical. And then lastly, we have optimize and automate. So all these optimize and automate is only possible provided you have kept the thing simple and practical. So this we will be learning about as we go into the principles. This section covers approximately around 6 questions in the overall syllabus or the examination pattern. It covers 6 questions out of 40 questions. So this is where this we go ahead. All right.
Right. And I think now that you spoke about the principles and the value that it has in the exam, there are all the other concepts as well. And sometimes clearing the exam also comes with connecting the concepts from principles to governance and also to continual improvement.
Correct.
I think that's also where service value system comes in. So could you
Yeah.
please talk to us a little more on that?
Okay. Now, what is a service value system? Service value system is a framework. You might have heard in your colleges or those who are still studying into college grade, you must have studied that every system has an input, every system has a process, and it produces certain outputs. So inputs are your demands and opportunities. Process is a service value system components, and outputs is your production services. By using the production services, one more additional parameter you get is an outcome, is a result. And that outcome is a result which enables delivery of the entire service value system to deliver value to the stakeholders. Now we have 5 components on that central component or the central component or the which is acting as a spinal cord or a brain or a heart of the service value system is called a service value chain activities, which has service value chain activities as 6 set of interconnected activities like plan, improve, engage, design and transition, obtain and build, and deliver and support, which enable ultimately output, which leads to an outcome, which ultimately provides value. Now, simplicity wise, when there is a demand made, the service value system enable transformation of input into an output. By using the output, you achieve an outcome. But this is straight flow. But in order to add effectiveness, then there is a governance which comes into picture. Governance provide effectiveness or efficiency in the way the service value system transform input into an output. Then you have practices which enable efficiency in the service value system to perform in line with the expectations of the consumer. Then the fourth area and the fifth area, which is guiding principles and the continual improvement, provides flexibility to the service value system based on these all 5 components, based on the input, that is a scenario, enable transformation of input into an output, which ultimately provides value to the consumers. And whatever value we provide, it's not static. It's going to be improved over a period of time based on the feedback given by the consumers. Consumer feedback is very critical in a service value system to enable delivery of value to the consumer in line with their expectations. Not only the first time, but every time the consumer connects with the service provider organization. So continual improvement is embedded into the service value system. Ultimate aim of every component in the service value system is to deliver value. Align everything in line with the expectations of the consumer. At the end of the day, happy customer is what is a concept which ITL4 is promoting. All right. If it
Yeah.
is a happy internal, there is one more important point here is if the employee is happy, then they will translate that happiness to the end user or consumer as well. So happy customer, happy employee leads to happy customer. That's also a concept which has been promoted.
Right.
Yeah.
That completely gives us an understanding of the service value system that we have. But understanding the components is one of the steps, and where everything, the value comes into place when you can see how the principles, processes, and all the practices work together as well. So, can you help us understand how to connect all of these dots from all of these systems to applying ITIL logic while making decisions?
See, what happens is whenever we are delivering anything to the consumers, if a consumer makes a demand, okay, let's take there is an example. Let's say you are using a fiber to home as a connection. Okay. Now, fiber to home connection you are using, you are attending the seminar. All of a sudden, the fiber to home connection fails. You are disconnected from the seminar. What happens? You raise a ticket to your internet service provider. The internet service provider says, give us 5 minutes, we'll resolve it. And within 5 minutes, they resolve it and you come back into the session. All this includes all the components of the service value system. You're raising incident ticket is part of the input. The practice which gets attached to it is called as the incident management practice. Using this practice and the service value chain, they enable transformation of input into an output, which is restoring of the connection. Once the connection is restored, in order to restore the connection, there are people from service from the service provider team, which includes all the four dimension organization and people. Then it includes the information and technology which they are adopting, partners and suppliers, business associates of them. And finally, you have the workflow which has been created, which is called as service value stream. So that all gets involved because they have a collaboration and value-based focus to deliver value to the consumer. Guiding principles are taken care of. And the service value chain activities are work with the in combination with the practices in order to transform input into output by utilizing the principles, by utilizing the service value chain activities, by utilizing the four dimensions of service management. All these are inclusive. All of them gel together in order to produce an output based on the input, which ultimately provides value for consumers. That's how it works out.
Right. I think this also gives us an idea of the framework now that you have explained everything in detail. But when it comes to the exam, some topics are just too important than the others. So the next part is about the high value practices that one has to follow. So could you share your insights on what topics learners should pay extra attention to while preparing for this exam?
Okay. So important thing, learners should pay attention right from the beginning. There is, though the coverage of the questions in an exam differs from topic to topic, but however, they, as I told you earlier also, they are all progressive learning. So unless you understand the key concepts and the four dimensions of service management, you cannot utilize those knowledge and progressively implement or apply in an overall service value system. So coverage wise, each of the topics are important. However, the as far as the practice are concerned, they have the maximum coverage in the syllabus. So 5 marks question is on the syllabus is related to key concept. 2 mark question is related to service value, the four dimensions of service management. 5 marks question, 6 marks question is related to your principles. 1 mark is a service value system. 2 marks for service value chain activities, and rest 24 questions are asked on the practices. Out of these practices also, not all practices will have equal amount of weightage. There are 7 practices which have more weightage compared to the other practices. That means they have 2 questions on these 7 practices, and these 7 practices includes continual improvement, change enablement, incident management, problem management, service desk management, level management, and service request management. So this covers approximately 2 into 7, 14 questions. There are few key concepts. There are terminologies there which consist of 5. So 14 plus 5, 19, and rest of the 5 questions will come on the other practices which are low, or which are practices which are introductory level of practices, not dealt in detail. So that's what is going. Every practice is uh, a high level overview of the expectations of the practices. After you complete foundation, then there is a practitioner for each of the practice. Those courses are also available, but that's for later. Yeah.
Right. Thanks for saying that. I think that gave us a good understanding and overview of what one has to focus on and the weightage each topic has. Another main important aspect is when it comes to the real exam, what are some of the practices and priorities and exam strategies that they can apply on the day of taking the exam? What are some tips that you can share with the audience?
All right. So this, I think we have already spoken about. It is
Yeah.
important that first of all, many of you would be from a scenario where you are not taking any kind of a certification or any exam since long time. So please do not take pressure of that. That's very critical and important for us to understand. So never take pressure of the exam. Okay. So there are no trick questions at all. So important tips is you to need to manage your time well. So when you are managing a time well, what you need to do is basically there are 60 questions which are 40 questions which are asked and 60 minutes you have. If you do a pure time management, that means 90 seconds per question. So that's how things becomes easier. That is also part of an agile methodology which you talk about. Do one step at a time. So that's what we are doing it. What we do is we take what people have in habit in colleges or schools is read through all the questions first. Avoid that. Don't do that. That's not right. It's not necessary to do that way. Here, that is okay when you need to select which question you want to answer, because there are choices that two or three, four and four or five, six and seven, and all that together, 5A or 5B you do, or you do 6A, 6B. Here there is nothing like that. So all 40 questions are important. Each questions carry same mark. So there is absolutely no need of going through all the questions to select which one you should do. So there is that kind of a approach you need to totally do away with. Focus on answering one question at a time. When we are focusing on one question at a time, the questions are very simple, straightforward. It is important to underline the keyword in the question. Now, when you underline the keyword in the question, what happens is you will be able to understand which syllabus area it is coming from. Very straightforward. It is given there. You don't have to look for it. It will be clearly specified as well, but underline the keyword in the question. Once you underline the keyword in the question, you get to know which syllabus area you're coming from. Once you know that, read through the options, underline the keyword in the option. What the keyword in the question and what the keyword in the option meets the best is 99.99% is the right answer. Right? It will help you eliminate rest of the three very, very clearly. So that's the technique which can be used. Also use elimination method. Also, if you feel that the question is difficult, you want to revisit it after some time, after completing the other questions, you can do that. You can tag that question so that you can visit it later. Okay. Also, important thing is to remember, don't leave any question unanswered, because there is no negative marking. At least you have, that means by taking the probability concept into picture, 25% of the times where you have a doubt, you'll get a right answer there as well. So that's how you can manage this way. Again, important is to underline the context of the question, which will give you the syllabus area. And that's very, very critical, which can happen.
Right.
And there are few more things after the syllabus is completed during the session. You are aware of your acquisition, the knowledge related to subject matter. However, there are lot of sample papers which or the simulation tests which Shweta will talk about as we go forward. So there are around 6 to 10 sample papers which are available on the learning management site, which you can solve. Try and solve each one of them. That gives you more practice, because it is normally said practice, 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 which makes the person perfect. So that's how you end. When you are practicing, there is an approach to that as well. So when you are practicing, the approach should be very clear. You are answering first set of questions, answer them end to end. Once you answer them, also in the learning management side, you will come to know why your answer has gone wrong. So you understand your weak areas. Go back to your courseware, syllabus, concepts, recordings which you get. And also when you register with PeopleCert, you would be given official manual for reference for a period of time till you give the exam. Please make use of all the resources there to clear your doubts. And of course, Simplilearn team and we are all available. You can connect with us in case you have any doubts, and that helps you to overcome your anxiety of giving exam, because more clearer you become, more easier it is to clear the exam. That's very important.
Thank you for sharing those tips. And I think those were some of the great tips that everyone who's attending this webinar can actually use. And you covered almost all the concepts and things that one should focus on while giving the exam. So thank you for saying that. So now we have actually covered how to prepare for the exam, what to focus on, the exam syllabus. But there are also a few questions on why professionals should invest in ITIL in the first place, and what makes it such a game changer in the IT service management and beyond. There are some questions about how it could be relevant and how one can also transition into after completing the foundation exam. So, could you share your thoughts on that?
Okay, so basically, if you are in any field, okay, it's important to identify who are your customers going to be. Okay, so when you apply these principles, apply the knowledge of ITIL, that means whenever you are delivering some services, you are the service provider. What is the focus of service provider should be, that is been very, very well articulated in ITIL 4 by way of the ITIL 4 framework for delivering the services in line with the expectations of the consumer consistently. So it is, as we have already discussed, it is not industry specific. It is open for all the industries to utilize, because today you think over it, think to ponder is, can an industry survive without delivering value for money to the customer, or without delivering value to the consumer? If the customer exists, then the company and the service provider exist. If the customer or consumer doesn't exist, the company does not ceases to exist. So that's a fundamental thing which you have to put in. Once the similarly in the products also it happens the same way. Once the product is delivered, like example, automobile industry is delivering cars. The creation of buying a car is only once, or in through this for 3 years or 4 years, or millennium people buy it every 3 years or 4 years. That's a trend. But however, the car life is 15 years. You need to maintain it for 15 years. So today, the manufacturer are not surviving basis delivering the cars, but maintaining the cars on behalf of the customer. They are surviving for the period of another 15 years. So that's how it is. Initial cost of payment, initial cost of procurement would be bit high, but then the rest of the things they are consistently making money out of it because of the services they are providing, and in ensuring that the car is maintained through initial warranty, extended warranties, and the AMC contracts. So this is where this helps in ensuring that the things move on from this. Even in a project management also, when you are a part of a project management team, you are delivered the project. Once you are delivered the project, then it project is moved into operation and maintenance environment. When it is moved into operation and maintenance environment, IT service management helps deliver value to the consumer at each point of delivery. So that comes into picture. So apart from ITIL 4 foundation, there are a lot of other courses which are there in ITIL 4, where ITIL 4 foundation is treated as the initial course or a prerequisite for doing rest of the courses. There are around 7-8 courses which can be done. You have a practitioner practitioner in each of the practices. You have then, we call it as the next course is more management professional, create, deliver, and support. Management professional, drive stakeholders value. Management professional, uh, high velocity IT. Then you have ITL strategist, drive, plan, and improve. ITL digital IT strategist. And then we have also 5 areas of three areas of specialist. First area of specialist is called as MS, manage, support, and fulfill, MSP, which includes five practices. Then you have second one, which is called as PIC, plan, improve, and control, which have 5 practices. Then we have another course which is called as the AIC, or which also includes 5 practitioners: assure, improve, and continually improve. So those are the various courses which you have in ITL,
Right.
it's IT service management as a banner. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, got it. And that also brings me to another question, and this was actually asked by one of our participants in the webinar. You also mentioned that as long as customers are there, we have to provide value, and it is relevant in multiple fields as well. So, is there any specific background that would benefit by taking up this course, and completing the ITI service exam?
Okay. Absolutely, knowledge about the area in which you're going to provide support to your consumers is what is the critical knowledge we should have. So base knowledge or domain knowledge is very critical in the providing the services. So domain knowledge of the services. For example, if you are in manufacturing, you should have domain knowledge of manufacturing. If you are in banking, you should have domain knowledge of banking. All right. If you want to provide services, domain knowledge of that area in which you want to provide services, you should have a domain knowledge of that. That gets added because you will be then able to connect to the customer well. Otherwise, you will not be able to connect to the customers. It is important to connect to the. It is important to connect to the customer, engage with the customer. We also call it as this leads to human connect. H2H is human to human connect. Because ultimately, whenever, even if you use B2B or B2C kind of a scenario, you'll see there will be a person representing service provider and there will be a person representing service consumer. If you understand them well, the engagement would be better. You will be able to connect better. You will be able to have a dialogue better. And that building dialogue will enable connect and relationship will be established. So that's what is also very critical aspect, which is important from the perspective of uh, domain knowledge one should have.
Right.
Okay.
Got it. So I hope that answered your query. I missed out on the name of the person who asked that question. Another prominent question is, do you need to have an IT background? So clearly, you do not need an IT
IT
background.
background, absolutely not needed to have an IT background. IT background, you will come, it's a kind of a background. I see always where, remember one thing, IT is enabler. Technology is an enabler. It is important that it enables the technology, but your domain knowledge is very critical, and IT will, or digitization or IT knowledge will be enabler, because unless and until you have your business process flows laid down in a particular domain area, the digitization cannot happen if that is not in place. On digitization is a part of optimize and automate as a concept, which brings in continual improvement through digitization. So banking, I don't recollect going to a bank right? Since last maybe 2 or 3 years, I have never visited a bank. Everything is available to me. But was that a scenario around 20 years back? No. For every transaction, you have to go to a bank. Is a bank IT organization? No, it is enabled by IT. So that's what is important and critical to understand. Similarly, you talk about your these auto guys or taxi guys. Earlier, we were very much dependent on taxis. Today, we have alternatives, Ola and Uber available. So they are easing out our way, reducing as a customer, our efforts are reduced, or go to, they are coming to us instead of we going to them. So that's very critical and thing which is happening, enabling through a technology. So that's important for us to take care of it. So having IT background would be desirable, but not mandatory, if we put it that way. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for clearing that and also for sharing examples, because I think that also added more clarity to the concept of why you do not need to have an IT background mandatorily. So that also brings us to one of the other segments that we will be covering today about the ITIL 4 foundation training that is provided by Simplilearn. Also, because you're a mentor with us, could you talk to us or share with the audience about your about the curriculum that we offer as a part of the course?
All right. So, as we said, we take care of the 16 hours of official course for learners to undertake. Now, this includes the syllabus, which is laid down by the governing body, which is People Cert, which talks about 16 hours of course. If we talk about, this is only about the delivery and acquisition of knowledge. If we talk about key concepts and service management, it takes roughly around 2.5 hours kind of a thing. Then we move on to 4 dimensions of service management, which equally moves to around 2.5 hours. Then we have service value system and the which takes around a half an hour time. The guiding principles takes around 1.5 hours time. So 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours, 5 plus 2, 7 hours, it makes it, and 1.5 hours for this. It makes it around 8 hours, 8.5 hours, and rest as the time which we give for this, including the solving of questions, samples, etc. Overall, this has been very well fit, which takes care of around 15 practices, takes the maximum amount of time, which is ranging from 4.5 hours to 5 hours kind of a scenario. And obviously, when we are taking this session, also we follow an agile approach to taking a session, wherein we take no more than 5 or 6 concepts at a given moment in time, explain them well. Once the explanation with the example is done, we go ahead and answer the queries and questions by the people. Once the queries and questions are answered by the people, we seek their affirmation to move to the next topic. So this is why it takes that much of time precisely. All right, so
Right.
that's how it works out.
Thank you for sharing that.
Apart from that, then there is, after the course is completed, as I told you earlier, self-learning contents are there and mock papers are there in Simplilearn site or learning management system, which includes around 10 of 4 mock tests and 6 simulation tests. And when you attempt them, you become more, practice becomes, you can practice and practice, and you become more clarity comes into you by using all the resources which we have already discussed about. One is uh, your the online learning videos, courseware, then your sample papers, your concepts, recording, as well as you get a free access to, once you register with PeopleCert, to the ITL4 guide, official guide from PeopleCert. So those all 5 resources, you make use of it, prepare for preparation after the syllabus is completed in the session. That will help you to be more thorough with it.
Thank you for sharing that. I believe everyone has gotten a complete and comprehensive understanding of what we cover as a part of our course at Simplilearn. And already Professor Bipin has spoken about the core concepts and the kind of mock papers that are provided. But I'll quickly tell you about a little more about the curriculum if you guys have missed out on that. So this is just not another online course. It's like he mentioned earlier, it's completely accredited and it's an exam ready curriculum, and it's in partnership with People Cert, like Professor Bipin just mentioned. And there are no hidden costs. So everything you need to prepare and pass the exam is included, from the study material to your exam resources as well. Another thing about this course is the lifetime learning access. So you can revisit the recordings and the modules that we offer anytime, even after you have cleared the exam. So even as ITIL evolves, you can keep coming back and staying on top of the topics, right? And of course, the practice resources make a lot of difference here. Professor Vipin really spoke about how important taking mock exams are. So we also have 30 quizzes, mock tests, and also 6 simulation exams. So you will have a complete understanding of the exam right before you give it. So it's like experiencing it before you even give it a try. And that's one way in which you can ensure that you pass it on your very first attempt. And with this course, you're not just studying, you're also training yourself to think in terms of how all the ITIL exam aspects as well. So one other important aspect that I would like to highlight here is the real world case studies. So you will actually work on live IT service scenarios. So these are the kind that will help you not only clear the exam but also apply the logic, and probably take that and apply it to the next job role that you get after completing the certification as well. So by the end of this, now you have an understanding of the curriculum. You will not just be well versed in theory, you will know how to apply it, and you will be completely career ready. And that is exactly what we want for all of our learners. Apart from that, we also guarantee exam success. And how do we do that? That is mainly through 100 plus premium exam based questions. So these are designed to mirror the actual test format, like we mentioned earlier. So you will also get a handy sheet for quick references and revision. So that can really help before you give the exam. And something else that we are happy about to share with you is the guaranteed pass study plan. So it's basically the structure, the way the curriculum is structured in a way to ensure that you pass it on the very first attempt. So you will know exactly what to study, when, and also how to revise it, so that by the time that you sit for the actual exam, you're completely ready. And I think we already spoke about this, the mocks, the number of practices that you get, and also the feedback that you're going to be receiving from your mentors. These are all crucial when it comes to clearing this exam in your very first attempt. And then moving on, the PDOs. So you also get professional PDOs. So PDOs are professional development units. So what these are is, this is mainly applicable for PMP, and this is not a criteria for clearing ITIL exam. But in case you are a PMP professional or you have completed the certification, you can definitely use these as your PDOs as well. And like Professor Bipin mentioned earlier, so these are instructed led sessions, and you will also have 24/7 learning support from Simplilearn team, and you will also have a community that you get to interact with. So these are some of the course highlights that we wanted to share with you. And on the screen, you can see some of the skills that will be covered. I do not need to go in depth into these. So you can just imagine completing the exam, and then you will have all of these skills in your resume, and that can add to your career aspect. You can add these to LinkedIn, you can add these to your resume, and this adds on a lot of value, and this can open up a lot of new opportunities for everyone out here. So I have been, both of us have been speaking about the exam, and I think it is time that we share some of the alumni stories with all of you. So these are real people who have taken the exam with us, and who have prepared for it using Simplilearn platform. So like you can see on screen, so Amar has completed his certification with us, and he has gotten a 35% salary hike and is currently working as a senior technology analyst. And then there's Parth Purohit. So he also cleared the exam and went ahead to land a new role. And also he also got a significant hike as well. So these are some of our alumni members. You can definitely go to our page and check out the performance or the reviews of all of our students, their experiences. And one thing they highlight is the kind of support and mentoring that we provided Simply Learn. You would have gotten an idea of it because Professor Vipin is also a mentor with us. So that is the kind of experience you're going to have. All your queries are going to be answered. All the guidance that you need is provided by us, and that is something that we are confident about. So that is mostly about what we do at Simply Learn, what we cover. I will also share the course link in the caption. So if you are interested, you can take a look at the curriculum. You can download the curriculum, look at our advices. We have experts in the industry who will be teaching you, and they will be your guide throughout your experience with us as well. If you have any queries, you can go to the page. There's a download option, and you can also view all of our schedules. So I've shared it in the chat. Please feel free to take a look at it. So, for anyone who is interested in the course now, we have covered who this is applicable for, what industries can this certification benefit. Now we are going to be talking about the enrollment steps for this certification. The steps are very simple. So all you have to do is, in some time, I'm going to launch a poll, and if you click on a yes, our advisors will reach out to you. If you have any questions regarding the course, you can ask them, and they will be more than happy to assist you. And once your profile is shortlisted, you will be able to join the upcoming cohort. And I also have a lot of questions regarding the course fees, so I'm going to take that up in the coming slide. So the course fee for this specific certification is, for Indian learners, it is 32,813, and that's we have an offer that's running right now. The initial price was 54,704. For a limited period, it is going to be this amount, and for US learners, it's $799. This is for some time, and the upcoming cohort starts on 8th of November. So you actually have 7 more days to join the upcoming cohort. We do have other cohorts as well. So when you view the course page, you will be able to get a comprehensive understanding of our schedules, the timing, and when the sessions would be happening. So the next batch is going to be from 8th of November to 16th of November. So now, if you are interested to enroll for this course specifically, I'm launching a poll. You just have to click on a yes, and our team will reach out to you. You also have options to pay in installments. You can talk to the team about it, and they will be more than happy to assist you. So, as you guys are responding to the poll, I will quickly move on to the question section because we have a few open questions for Professor Bipin. So, please go ahead and give your responses in the poll. In the meantime, I'll just share some of the questions that our learners have. So, one of the Yeah. So, Professor Bipin, one of the questions that we have is, what knowledge could be more beneficial related to ITL? So, basically, how is ITL beneficial for college students?
Okay.
Somebody who's a fresher.
Okay. So for the fresher, as they are moving in, this can be when if they are moving into the service management or service industry, this will basically enable the certification will enable their employers to understand they are already aware of the fundamentals related to service management. So these courses talk about the fundamental to service management, which is applicable to all kinds of industry across all business verticals. So this will also showcase, certifications will showcase that, okay, you are already aware of them, so you are ready to go and implement those in your day-to-day life and that organization.
Right. Thank you for saying that. And then there's another question. You have led a SAP implementation. What were the key stakeholders, and how did ITIL support you?
Okay, so key stakeholders, when we talk about, all the key stakeholders are not only from the implement where the implementation is going on, those are customer organizations, but there are other stakeholders which were involved from where the SAP who were delivering SAP to us, who are creating the backend infrastructure in terms of network, in terms of data centers, in terms of internet connectivity, infrastructure management. All these were all stakeholders apart from the consumers. Now, in the consumer organization also, the entire organization was entire organization with different areas were part of our consumers or the users. Users from manufacturing, finance, plant maintenance, sales and distribution, and so on and so forth. Every area of the organization was part of our stakeholder. So managing their expectation is a challenge. So you need to basically go ahead and follow the methodology one, which is for implementation of SAP implementation, which is generally called as the uh, product implementation methodology, where we do business blueprinting first. Once we are doing business blueprinting, also we do follow the method of how to capture the initial requirements from the consumers, which we need to, what are their expectation in terms of workflow, what are they what are their business rules, what are their expectations in terms of processing, what are the acceptance criteria, or through interview sessions, through all this was captured, consolidated, internal reviews, internal reviews, then customer reviews, then freeze it and go to the next step. So all these are followed. So we need to take care of all the stakeholders. Stakeholders include the people who are actually implementing it, people who where the implementation is happening, and the people who are interested in terms of the management of the organization, which are actually pumping money, sponsoring the entire implementation. All these people are part of your stakeholders. Yeah, I think the question was mostly on the stakeholders, right?
Yes, yes, it
Yeah.
was.
So
Uh,
all
yeah,
generally there are three types of stakeholders. We say people who are involved, people who are impacted, and the people who are interested. All three are stakeholders. Involved are the people who are service providers. Impacted are the people like the entire organization who is implementing it, and the other interested are the people who are pumping money in that organization in terms of shareholders and other investors. They are interested people. If that
right.
happens, they will also get benefit, right? Then
Yeah.
organization makes profit, earning per share is given to them, they make profit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. So I also just wanted to quickly tell our participants that I will be ending the poll in a minute. So if you're interested, please go ahead and click on a yes. Like I mentioned, the offer is for a limited period. So our team will reach out to you regarding that as well. And in the meantime, for questions regarding the certification, once this poll ends, I will launch the poll for your certificates and you can share your insights, your full name over there. In the meantime, I would also like to share one more question, and this was one of the initial questions that we had. So, this person has 12 plus years of experience in IT with exposure into ITSM service and delivery management, and
Mhm.
he's currently in a leadership role as IT service delivery and project manager with experience of 8 plus years. How
Mhm.
would you suggest to prepare and appear to the ITIL 4 Foundation certification?
Suggestion is basically you are into service management. So if you have not done any course earlier, so this is the best way to come into the scenario of showcasing yourself as one of the persons who are aware of the service management, how it is working globally, at least with the foundation. So you can use this course as a stepping stone in the growth path in your organization, which is possible.
Right. Thank you for that. And I hope that answers your question as well. So, with that, I am ending the poll for your interest. If anyone has missed out, I have shared the course link in the chat earlier as well. So, you can just go there, check the schedule, and click on enroll, and our team will reach out to you there as well. And I will also launch a poll for certificates right now. So, please ensure that you mention your full name. You will receive the certificate within 24 hours of this webinar. So you do not have to worry. And in case you do not receive it, you can always mail us at webinars@simplilearn.net. And I think that also gives us, and I think we can take one more question. So in that, there's a question from Chetana, and she says, in the cybersecurity related work profile, is ITIL useful? And as AI is coming in the picture everywhere, do you think learning ITIL is useful?
Okay, very good question. Here in ITIL, one of the four dimension is called as the information and technology dimension. This information and technology dimension is related to utilization of technology, latest technology, including AI, machine learning, information security, and so on and so forth. It is all there. It is all been handled through ITIL 4. ITIL 4 is a framework wherein you can plug many other methodologies and other frameworks such as ISO framework can be plugged and played. Project management methodology can be plugged and played. Agile, Scrum can be plugged and played. Where these are called as Agile and Scrum are the approaches to project management. So you can also plug and play these. Not only we can, there are other mechanisms of plug and play which is permissible within ITI, within this framework with other methodologies like this Lean Six Sigma for ensuring that the value streams are simple and practical and help deliver value to the consumers. So that's also there. There is another one question which is there, which Krishnan K has been putting here.
Yeah.
ITI, he wants to understand whether the ITIL, he is ITIL 3 certified, V3 certified. ITIL V3, people who are certified on ITIL V3 can take ITIL 4. It is ITIL 4 is enhancement over ITIL 3 with all the concept of ITIL 3 uh, being valid, but the alignment of the framework of ITL 3 and ITL 4 is there with the specific, all the things which are there are applicable. However, the alignment with the value, how a value can be delivered at each stage of delivery to the consumer or the stakeholders is what has been added in ITL 4. So they can do ITL 4 foundation very easily can do it. There's nothing there which can stop them from doing ITL 4. So it is, if your certificate is expired, you can take an ITL 4 certification foundation that will be valid for 3 years period. I've also in the same time, I have answered the queries related to Scrum and all those things because that's an approach which can be implemented in ITIL or which can be plugged and played in ITIL 4 framework. Yeah.
Right. I think we have answered almost all the questions, and there are some questions regarding the syllabus and how they can get the details. So you can actually go to the course page and you can download the syllabus over there. It's clearly mentioned. So you can find the course link in the chat, and if you require it, I'm sharing it once again. So you can take a look at it and you will find the syllabus in the course page. So with that, I'm also ending the poll for certificates. If you have missed out on it, please go ahead and let us know in by reaching out to us at webinars@simplylearn.net. With that, we have come to the end of today's webinar, and I would like to take this moment to thank Professor Bipin. It was such a wonderful and insightful session. We learned a lot, understood a lot of new concepts, and I hope every participant got a comprehensive understanding on how they can clear the exam, what strategies they have to adopt. So it was really great having you. And I think I have one last question for you. So, what is one piece of advice that you would like to share to all the participants who have attended this webinar today?
Okay. Only one thing I will say is that whatever you do, you should enjoy doing it. Once you enjoy doing it, that enjoyment is transferred and translated into the enjoyment for the customer. Hence, the value is translated to them as well, or transferred to them also, transition to them as well. Okay,
Yeah.
that
Yes.
and
Thank you.
with that
Yeah.
said, enjoy everyone and do anything. Enjoy by doing that thing. That's very, very important. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much. That's great advice, and I hope all of you implement that in your real life as well. Also, I would like to thank all of you for staying till the end, for being such wonderful participants. It was great hosting you guys as well. I really look forward to having you all in the upcoming webinars. Tell us your feedback, share your thoughts with us. And if you would like us to have more webinars on these topics, you can reach out to us and let us know, and we will organize that in the coming months as well. So I hope all of you have a wonderful evening ahead. With that, I'm going to end this session and hopefully see you all in the upcoming sessions as well. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Okay. Good night, everyone. See you
Yeah.
soon. Bye.